When we start our practice of yoga, we want to come to the mat with the enthusiasm of a new student and leave the mat with a feeling of confidence. Sometimes over time, as you mature in the practice, that enthusiasm and that confidence may wane. Always coming with a brightness, with that new student attitude, is easier sometime than others. Let's create an expression of openness. In the practice, we'll begin to open the upper chest through drawing the elbows forward and the hands back in this cactus pose. Let's start the practice. I like what one of my teachers says, fake it till you make it. And sometimes coming to the mat, if you don't feel that liveliness and enthusiasm, you instead just feel like you want to just crawl into a cave. Your upper back rounds, your chin draws down. By working with some very simple alignment tips, like lengthening the side body, taking the heads of the arm bones back, we open the chest nicely to give us that feeling of receptivity, of enthusiasm, of confidence. Take your arms in a cactus pose. To create this openness in the upper chest, just take your elbows forward, your hands slightly back, maybe your gaze up slightly, and you feel a lot more open in the upper chest. Be sure to tone the muscles of the arms with a nice spread to the fingers as you turn to the right, back to center, turn to the left, back to center. Release your hands and interlace your fingers to your low back. Press your knuckles to the low back and hug your elbows in toward one another. Staying seated, draw your elbows in toward each other. Open your heart nicely. Maybe you can even lift your interlaced fingers away from your low back. Release. Now we'll work on those same moves in standing poses. So come to the front of your mat. Stepping to the front of the mat, inhale, take your arms up. Exhale, release your hands alongside your ankles. Step your right leg back and take your right knee down. Place your hands right above your left knee and just draw your pelvis down toward the mat. With the arms in a cactus pose, twist to your right, back to center, twist to your left, back to center. Again, twist to your right, back to center, twist to your left, back to center. Release your hands down. Step your back foot forward. Place your hands to your low back and rise up. Inhale, sweep your arms up with your fingers spread to tone the muscles of the upper arms with the heart open so fully. Exhale, draw yourself into the forward fold and take your left foot back. Take your knee to the floor. Draw the pelvis down toward the mat. Balance yourself first in the pose. Take your arms in the cactus pose again. Draw your elbows slightly forward, palms slightly back. Maybe you can look up to get this nice openness. We'll twist again. Turn to your left, back to center. Turn to your right, back to center. Turn to your left again, back to center. Turn to your right, back to center. Release your hands down. Step back to downward facing dog or child's pose or puppy dog pose, and allow your breath to be easeful but full. Make your way up to the top of the mat again. Place your hands to your low back and rise up. Inhale, take your arms up and reach them back. Exhale, place your hands alongside your ankles to step your right leg back. This time come to a high lunge. As you rise up, do that same action. Take your arms in the cactus pose and twist to your right, back to center, to your left, stay balanced, back to center, to your right, back to center, to your left, and release your hands down. Step your back foot forward. Place your hands to your low back and rise up. Reach up again and back. Exhale, bend your knees slightly as you step your left leg back. Come to balance yourself in a high lunge. As you're ready, with the arms in that same pose we've been working on, elbows forward, hands back, heart open. You fake it till you make it, says my teacher. With these nice heart-opening poses, you feel so much more expansive. From here, again, let's do a twist. Twist to the left, back to center, to the right, back to center, to the left, back to center, to the right. Back to center. Release your hands down. Step your back foot forward. Place your hands to the low back and rise up. Let's apply that same action we did seated with the fingers interlaced, the knuckles to the low back, the elbows hugging in. Let's come to a high lunge from the front of the mat. Inhale, reach your arms up and slightly back. Exhale, come to the forward fold. Take your right leg back. Take your right knee down. Balance yourself in the low lunge. Interlace your fingers. Press the knuckles to the low back. Open the chest nicely. Hug your elbows in toward each other as you just soften down more fully. Release your hands to the mat. Step your back foot forward. Place your hands to your low back and rise up. Reach your arms up and back. Exhale, come to the earth with your knees bent. Step your left leg back, your back knee down, your toenails down, pressing through the back toenails so that you don't pour all of your weight to the back knee. Interlace your fingers behind your back. Press your knuckles, hug your elbows in, lift your heart as you continuously draw your elbows in toward each other. Reach your interlaced fingers back a little bit more and release your hands down. Step your back foot forward. Place your hands to your low back and lift yourself up to come to a standing pose. Step wide. Turn your right toes out. Look at the lineup of your feet. Bend your knee. Take your arms in the way that we've been doing with the fingers spread, elbows forward, hands back. Just open the chest really nicely. Draw your elbow toward your knee and lift yourself up. Same thing, right elbow drops toward the right knee before you lift up. Again, right elbow draws down. Inhale, lift up. Release your hands. Come to the opposite side. Right foot parallel to the back edge. Left foot turns out. Bend your knee. Take your arms up. Spread your fingers to get nice tone in the muscles of the upper arms. Draw your elbow down. Inhale, lift up. Draw your left elbow to your left knee. Lift up. Keep the back leg strong in this expression of fullness in the upper chest. You feel more alive. Keep that feeling as you take your hands behind your back. Turn your left toes in, your right toes out. Bend your elbows. Press the knuckles to your sacrum. Bend your front knee. Draw your heart down toward the inner knee. Reach your interlaced fingers up and away from the low back with the elbow slightly bent. Place your hands to your low back. Press your flesh down toward the earth to rise up. Come to the opposite side. As we turn the left toes out, bend the knee, interlace your fingers to your low back. With the fingers to the low back and the elbows hugging in, you open the upper chest nicely. Keeping the back leg steady, draw your heart down toward the inner knee. Keep drawing the elbows in so that you have this nice openness just through the strength of the back muscles, the shoulders hugging in. Reach your interlaced fingers slightly away from your low back, but still keep a nice bend to the elbows so that you have this engagement of the upper chest muscles. Place your hands to your low back. Press your flesh down to lift yourself up out of the pose. One last standing pose. Turn your right toes out. A slight variation on triangle pose now. Take your arms in this cactus pose with the fingers spread. Draw over to the side and you start to feel the inner thigh muscles open nicely. Inhale, rise up. Do that 2 more times. Exhale, draw down. Keep the back leg strong. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, draw down. Sometimes in triangle pose, so easy to kind of bow forward. Instead, we keep the upper chest open. Let the right hand drop down, the left arm lift up. Just keep this nice openness that cactus form created in the upper chest. Root down to rise up out of your pose. Come to the opposite side with the elbows bent. Draw the elbows forward, hands back, draw down. Inhale, lift up. 2 more, draw down. Root down through the back leg, lift up. Exhale deeper. Release your left hand, take your right arm up, and expand the upper chest. Keep this nice steadiness in the pose. A nice rootedness in the back foot. Root down through the strength of the back leg to inhale and take you out of the pose. Exhale and release down. Let's come to lie down on your back. As you lie on your back with your knees bent, typically I ask people to open their palms in the supine position. We'll have the palms pressing down on the floor, palms down. Lift your feet up off the mat. Some of you can straighten your legs and lift the legs high. Others of us should bend the knees a little bit so that we always keep a nice curve in the spine when we do this. With your right hand pressing down, take your left hand to your belly area. Your right hand is pressing down firmly. Draw your feet over toward the right side. And notice how you can feel the engagement of the abdominal muscles. You let your left shoulder leave the earth as you keep the right hand really plugged in, really working. So the whole arm is helping you from collapsing to the floor on the side. Inhale, lift your feet up, and again, your knees can be bent, your legs can be straight, your choice. With the left palm pressing down on the mat, take your right palm to the solar plexus or the area just below the low ribs. Your choice, bend the knees slightly just to protect the low back for most of us, or keep the legs straight, but just draw over to the side with ease, very slowly. Let your right shoulder lift. It's not a twist, it's a turning to the side as you draw your feet over. Your left arm is really working to keep you engaged. Inhale, lift up, and extend your right arm to the side, palm pressing down. Same thing, draw your feet over, engage your legs so fully, get a nice spread to your toes as you let the left shoulder lift. The right arm is really helping you maintain a nice steadiness and ease in the action. You press down fully through the right arm to lift your knees up. Take your left hand to the side, palm facing down. Take your right palm to the belly area and do the same thing. Again, as you come to the left side, draw your feet over, let your right shoulder lift. Keep the engagement of the left hand to have a nice, slow, and steady action toward the side. Inhale, lift your feet up. Exhale, release down. Whew. That's strong engagement of the abdominals and the shoulders. Just pause here. Allow a nice fullness to the upper chest. We are getting strength and stability in the shoulders to really open nicely. See if you can apply these actions as you lift your pelvis up, press your elbows down. Just get this nice fullness. Yoga is a path to full confidence in the practice. You come to the practice with enthusiasm. You notice how that affects your alignment, certainly your attitude, as you gain a little bit more knowledge about your body. That knowledge gives you strength, gives you confidence, allows you to proceed in the practice in such a way that you refine these actions so fully. Slowly take your pelvis down. Let your arms be supported by the floor and extend your legs out. Close your eyes. Soften your facial muscles. Invite a nice ease to the breath. Allow yourself to assimilate the actions. And notice as you breathe in through the nose and expand the upper chest fully. And you breathe out through the nose, just letting the outer body soften. You are that expression of confidence. You've learned just a little bit more about your body, and through that knowledge, you gain more confidence, more strength, more flexibility, not only in your physical body, but also in your behaviors. As you learn how to observe your own actions, refine them, you gain this inner strength. Others observe that. Others want to emulate that. You lead by example. So as you pause to rejuvenate yourself, to assimilate these actions, to confirm for yourself that inner strength that enables this felt sense of confidence. From the mat, you can carry that into your day. You may continue your Shavasana, or if it's time for you to move on to the activities of your day, take a moment, pause. So that you can take these actions, this attitude off the mat into your day. Namaste.